Good morning to one and all gathered here for this international conference on navigating metaverse in shaping the future of business. A warm welcome to all the esteemed guests and my dear participants. We are thrilled to have you all join us today as we embark on a journey of enlightenment, collaboration, and innovation. VIMS is not just a place of learning, but also a community of diverse individuals who share a common passion for knowledge, growth, and innovation. Now let's have a virtual presentation about VIMS.
Vivekananda Institute of Information and Management Studies. Exclusive B School for Women, MBA and MCA, a part of Vivekananda Educational Institution. Established in the year 2002, we offers full-time MBA and MCA program approved by ICT ENEW Delhi, credited by NOC, and affiliated to Anna University. Greeny environmental campus around our institution. ICT-enabled classrooms, has its own cultural festivals and spaces for indoor and outdoor games. Active Learning Program Services, provides a free transport service for day scholar students. Fine Arts Club, to bring the latent talent of the students to limelights. Sharpening your knowledge with fully stocked library. Live your dreams with MNC placements. International conferences, seminars and weekly webinars. iLearning engines, to increase the potential to improve the future learning. Comfy hostel feels like home, well-equipped lab facilities with 120 high-end systems. Consistent Anna University hold medalists and rank holders. So, if you're looking for a college that will prepare you for the exciting and ever-evolving world of information and management studies, look no further. Come join us at Vivekananda Institute of Information and
The metaverse is decentralized visual space, whereas avatar of humans interact with each other in a shared persistent space. It would eventually become a digital destination where all of us hang out just like Instagram today. Now let's view a short presentation about metaverse.
As we gather here today in the digital realm, we commence our proceedings by symbolizing the illumination of knowledge and wisdom through a virtual lighting ceremony. I kindly request everyone to direct their attention to the screen as we virtually light the ceremonial lamp, signifying the beginning of a quest for knowledge and inspiration. Thank you, everyone, for participating in this digital lighting ceremony. May this light of knowledge guide us toward this conference. True leadership is about giving other people the context, the culture, and the environment to shine. Esteemed guests and participants, I have the distinct honor of introducing the Director of Vivekananda Institute of Information and Management Studies, Dr. V. Mohanasundaram, sir, who will be gracing us with a welcome address for today's event.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Metaverse, where reality meets the imagination and the digital frontier expands our horizons. Today is an incredible day. On behalf of VIIMS, I, Dr. Mohanasundaram, Director of Business School, take this opportunity to thank our Chairman and Secretary for his consent to organize the 2 days virtual international conference on navigating Metaverse in shaping the future of business. We are glad to declare that this is the 9th episode of International Conference hosted by VIIMS. I'm privileged to welcome Dr. M. Karunanidhi, Chairman and Secretary, our most respected and beloved Chairman and Secretary, Vivekananda Education Institution, in absence here. I'm honored to welcome today's chief guest, Ajay Nair, CEO Technology Solutions, Nexus Space UK, and Dr. Sandamari Gogalakrishnan, founder, UK Global Ventures Chennai, who are with us to share their valuable thoughts. I'm also welcome the trustees and managing peoples of Vivekananda Education Institution and our beloved Executive Director, Dr. S. Kupusamy, sir. I extend my warm welcome to Chief Executive, Research Director, Director of Corporate Relationship, Principals, Deans, Heads of various departments, and the faculty members of our institution and our sister institution, corporates, research scholars, participants from other colleges, and our MBA and MCA students of VIIMS. I'm very happy to welcome all the eminent speakers and guests from various sectors all over the world joining with us for the next couple of days to share their knowledge and vast experience on recent trends related to Metaverse concept. I'm very proud to mention the name of the elegant speakers of the today and tomorrow. First one, Dr. Anand Kulkarni, Professor and Associate Director, Institute of Artificial Intelligence, MIT, World Peace University, Pune. Dr. Arindam Chaudhary, Professor, Great Lake Institute of Management, Chennai. Dr. R. Rajkumar, Professor, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. Dr. Sunil Butadia, Professor and Head, Sridhar Institute of Science and Technology, Hyderabad, Telangana. Next, Dr. Janitha Kulasarjingam, Professor, Taylor's University, Malaysia. Mr. Mahesh Narayanan, Genuine AI to go-to-market leading technology from Bangalore. Dr. Sandesh Kumar Nanda, Architect AI Solution, Wipro Limited, Bangalore. Dr. Anand Mahalingam, Vice President, Data Science, Digital Insurance, Bangalore. Next, I am very proud to mention the names and welcome of the chief guest of validity function that is going to be held on tomorrow. Flip Jervil, My Anna Health, Chief Communication Officer, UK. Dr. Sridhar Sundaram, Dean, College of Business Economics, California State University, US. Next, Ms. Rajalakshmi Subramaniam, Director, Carrier HR Solutions, Chennai. The purpose of the Metaverse International Conference is to bring together the industry, leaders, innovators, researchers, and enthusiasts to discuss and explore the various aspects of the metaverse. This could include topics like virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain technology, digital economics, social interaction, privacy concerns, and the future implication of the metaverse and society, environment, health, business technology, and whatnot. The conference would like to serve as a platform for networking, idea sharing, and showcasing the advancements in the rapidly evolving field. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to International Conference on the Metaverse. This gathering makes a significant moment in the intersection of technology, creativity, and human experiences. We are honored to have such a diverse and esteemed group of researchers, developers, innovators, and enthusiasts gathered here. Your expertise and insight will undoubtedly enrich our discussion and pave the way for a deeper understanding of the metaverse possibilities and challenges. I encourage everyone to actively participate, share your ideas, and engage in fruitful discussion. Let us use this opportunity not only envision the future of virtual world, but also to collaborate and shape in responsibly. May this even be catalyst for new discoveries, partnership, and inspiration that propel towards the more immersive and interconnected tomorrow. I hope all the session of these 2 days these 2 days effective learning for all of us. I thank everyone for being with us today. I'm sure you will have the fruitful and rewarding exchanges in these 2 days. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Every great accomplishment starts with a decision to try. As we commence navigating metaverse in shaping the future of business, I am delighted to introduce Dr. Senthamare Gokulakrishnan ma'am, founder of Yugi Global Venture. She will be enlightening us with the conference theme, providing us with valuable insights to shape our discussions. Let us move on to view the guest profile.
Very warm welcome to all of you gathered here today. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Senthamare Gokulakrishnan, for this occasion. Dr. Senthamare Gokulakrishnan, co-founder, BetaMonks and founder, UK Global Ventures, Education. Alumni of ISP is experienced in business planning, operations management, people management, digital marketing with capabilities in strategy, planning, business modeling, creating and implementing innovative marketing strategies through the right mix of mediums, content and research. She enjoys leading teams and building business. Impact entrepreneur, startup advisor, building a global ecosystem for women by women on a mission to empower 1 million women, member of Goldman Sachs Program 10K, ISB ambassador. VIIMS is specialized in building automation and analytic platforms from startup to billion-dollar mid-sized companies. She runs business for the social cause to enable people from underprivileged backgrounds to realize and reach their potential. She runs clothing to software service ventures with 200 plus employees, spent 50 plus years banking within the retail sales segment in various leadership roles. She is passionate about mentoring young minds on their journey and inspiring them to take up entrepreneurial journey. She has also been a speaker on topics of women in entrepreneurship and social impact. Over the years, Dr. Senthamare has been recognized by various institutions. With the best of both world experience in corporate and business, she purposefully fuses her personal life experiences with her professional expertise to inspire. These awards: skilled in entrepreneurship, inspirational speaker, business process, operations management, business development, strategic planning, and youth development.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and good morning all. Good morning, everyone. And I'm super thrilled and honored to be here with all of you today as we embark on this incredible journey of navigating the metaverse, shaping the future of business. Before I even start, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Mohanasundaram and the institution, Vivekananda Institute of Information and Management Studies, for coming up with this brilliant conference. The next 2 days, it's going to be more of information because I personally love this conference. They have brought together some industry experts, leaders, innovators from across the globe who are going to demystify Metaverse for you all. So I'm personally looking forward to a great next 2 days. And why is this important? So let me just set the context theme. Why is Metaverse so important? It is going to be a massive industry in a very short period of time. That is Metaverse for you guys. According to Citi, Goldman Sachs, and many other people, the potential of Metaverse is staggering with respect to the amount of money it can create, which will boost our economic growth, right? So the Metaverse is like a big wave, which is going to change how we do things online, like creating, connecting, and even trading. It is not just a fancy word, but it is a whole new way of blending our digital world with the reality, letting our imaginations run wild and turn into real life ideas, right? So Metaverse is going to be the bridge between the physical world and the vast universe of invisible data that is surrounding us. So we can call this as the convergence of multiple technologies and the evolving digital age, right? So everything from AR, your virtual reality, your IoT, AI, blockchain, robotics, all these powerful technologies are all powerful metaverse technologies that is going to propel every business which is there in existence, right? So it is envisioned as a shared virtual space that is going to be persistent, interconnected, and immersive. It is going to blur the lines between the physical and the digital world, right? So in the metaverse, users like us, we can socialize, we can connect with people, we can work, we can play, we can create and even transact with others, all within the seamless digital ecosystem what we are creating. So today I'm going to share you two remarkable stories that illustrate the power of metaverse in action. First, we have Vitalik Buterin, who at just 15 years of age was a devoted fan of the game World of Warcraft. How many of you here like games? Everybody, right? We all like games, but one fatal day, the game's developers stripped away some of the Vitalik's character powers, leaving him heartbroken. This experience opened his eyes to the limitations of centralized system, and it sparked his journey. A year later, he discovered Bitcoin, and 3 years from there, he left the university to create a crypto project, and that is now we know it as Ethereum. And then the second story is about Alien Griff, a former school teacher who began her adventure in the virtual world of Second Life with an avatar named Anshi Chung. Anshi's role in this virtual realm was to craft custom animations. She used the proceeds to purchase and develop virtual land. And in 2006, her avatar's net worth reached an astonishing $1 million US, all earned through activities within the virtual world what they created. So these stories, they just show us the only limit we have is our imagination. The metaverse empowers us to break free from boundaries and forge new paths to success, right? So the metaverse is not just a futuristic concept, but it is a rapidly becoming a tangible reality and represents a convergence of virtual and physical realities while offering boundless possibilities for businesses across industries for them to engage with customers, drive innovation, and create meaningful customer experiences. So when we look ahead, what we have, Metaverse is poised for exponential growth and innovation in the next 5 years down the line. We can expect to see a proliferation of interconnected virtual worlds, platforms, and even experiences which is going to cater to diverse interests and industries. So businesses will leverage Metaverse for their marketing, customer engagement, employee collaborations, and even creating new endless opportunities. In fact, I like the opening video what the college had played, where they have mentioned very clearly about every single sector, every single industry, which is going to impacted hugely by Metaverse, right? So the potential impact of Metaverse spans over every industry, the various industries, right from entertainment to gaming to education, to healthcare, retail, and even much beyond, which is beyond our expectations and imaginations. So if you take an entertainment industry for an example, the metaverse offers new avenues for storytelling, because business is all about storytelling, right? And gaming experiences and even interactive entertainment. So your virtual concerts, immersive theater productions, and multiplayer gaming experiences are just a few examples of how the entertainment landscape is being transformed by the metaverse, and you can expect a lot more to happen the next 5 years down the line. So this interconnected virtual world is expected to create a wave of new career opportunities. So this is for students like you, since we have a lot of students joined in. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the career opportunities, what you can expect with Metaverse. So some exciting possibilities which you can explore. One is, of course, the Metaverse economist, right? So as virtual economies emerge within the Metaverse economist, will be needed to design and manage them. And then Metaverse realtors, right? So buying and selling virtual land or property within the Metaverse could create a need for specialized real estate agents. So watch out for this space. And then the very interesting segment is the Metaverse educators and trainers, right? So educating and training people on how to use the Metaverse effectively will be very important. So this is one more segment which is going to open up. And then we have the Metaverse therapists and counselors. As people spend more time online, there might be a need for mental health professionals who can operate within the Metaverse. So that's one more occupation coming up. And then I have the Metaverse attorney. So legal professionals who can deal with virtual world legal issues. So there are so much of opportunities which is going to unfold, which is already unfolded because of Metaverse. And for the next couple of days, as part of this international conference, we will explore about everything from looking about digital health in virtual offices to rethinking how travel works, right? So we will dig into how farmers could use the Metaverse to predict crop yields and get ready for climate changes. We will also see how medicine can use the Metaverse for virtual healing. And every part of your business is about to be turned upside down with Metaverse, right? So, but let me tell you one thing. Let us all remember, all these big changes come with huge responsibilities, right? So during our discussion for the next 2 days, we will take on tricky questions about fairness online, making sure everyone can join in and keeping people's information and data safe, right? So this conference is going to be your chance to learn how to be a trendsetter in this new world, in this new digital world, to say. I encourage you to listen, ask questions, and connect with what we are going to talk about today and the next tomorrow as well. So let's use the Metaverse to build the businesses that are not only cool, but forward-thinking, but fair and lasting too. So on this note, I would like to say the future is calling us. Let's create it together. I would like to welcome you all to this 2-day international conference on navigating Metaverse, shaping the future of business, and wish you all loads of learning for the next 2 days. Thank you so much for the opportunity and good luck.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for wonderful speech.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Beginnings are usually scary and the endings are usually sad, but it's everything in between that makes it all worth living. I'm honored to present Ajay Nair sir, who will be delivering the inaugural address, setting the platform for the enlightening discussion and profound insights that will unfold during this prestigious event. Let us move on to the guest profile.
Warm welcome to all of you gathered here today. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Ajay Nair. He has completed his MBA in Management Information System, Corporate Finance at the College of Business and Analytics, USA. He is an IBM Certified Design Thinking Practitioner and member of Industry Alliance International, American Planning Association, International Roster of Experts, Indian Society of Remote Sensing, and Institute of Town Planners. His current roles are CEO of Nexus.Space, consultant data governance, London Stock Exchange Group, UK, and he is a senior fellow and head of Europe, South Asia Institute of Advanced Research and Development. His market verticals are banking, retails, e-commerce, ERP, SEM, biotech, smart city and regions, environment, asset management, transportation. He has done numerous numbers of publications, and some of them are Enterprise Architecture for Infrastructure Network and Performance Metrics, Florida, USA, Forestry and Ecology Studies on Forests using Landsat and Spot Satellite Data and Ground Surveys, Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, India, Habitat Environment Assessment Model using remotely sensed database, ground monitoring and GIS. He is expert in cross-cultural and global markets management experiences. We are glad to welcome you, sir. A very warm welcome to all of you gathered here today.
Hello, hope you can listen to me. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Very happy good morning, and probably it's slightly early from Indian time. I'm here in UK, London, and I'm so happy to be in the Metaverse conference for the future business. This is a very interesting topic. When Dr. Mohanasundaram contacted me for this one, I was thinking whether to participate, not to participate, but finally we have agreed to get on with the agenda and get on with it. So let me just start with thanking the chairman, Mr. Karunanidhi and Mrs. Karunanidhi in their absence, and Venkatachalam Mohanasundaram is kind of gracious enough to reach out to me and then see what we can do actually, because this is all about the metaverse management, how we are going to evolve this industry for the future generation. So it's not about today what you did and so far what we have accomplished in this field of new technology, but how do we take it forward actually? That's what we are going to discuss. In my presentation, I'm going to talk about how the entire metaverse ecosystem can be managed in the future, and what are the challenges, what are the opportunities. That's my focus of the discussion. I will be mainly talking about the metaverse as it is being applied in different verticals. So what kind of opportunities and challenges we have on this technology, and how do we tackle that actually. Then we will look at the core principles actually. Management is it's not just one vertical, or it's not a technology related management. We have to think about how it will get applied onto industry, how it will get applied onto healthcare, how it will get applied in government actually. So those are all the vertical we probably need to think about when we talk about this topic, because it's going to be across the verticals. It's not going to be just only one healthcare or one transportation application we are going to think about. We need to think about everybody actually. So that's the metaverse principle as it is being applied. We will look into some amount of challenges in terms of content management, how we regulate it, how do we govern it, and what are the kind of principles we need to keep at the core of the metaverse data actually. So that's one thing. We'll look into few very selected use cases, and then we will look into the future outlook of the whole thing. I looked at several definitions about metaverse. One which it struck me is actually a definition from Mr. Cathy Hackl. She wrote a article in Forbes. Actually, it talks about metaverse as kind of it's a kind of a combination of a what is beyond. Actually, what is beyond means beyond, not about the current situation, not about yesterday's past, but it is about the entire universe, how it can be thought about as something beyond what is possible actually. So if we can link the entire technology spectrum of metaverse, link it to what can be achieved into the future, that's where we will create some value out of it. Like, I looked at the spectrum of the entire scenario, the metaverse, as Mrs. Dr. Sentamarai just mentioned. It's about how do we take this entire physical world into an immersive digital world, actually, where anybody who has got some kind of a digital content can come on forward and then represent what he think about the digital representation of his domain, actually. So it can be from an analog kind of system, or it can be just a home, a factory floor, it can be a hospital. Take any context and move it to a digital format where people can get into the same digital space and interact with, actually. So it has got some kind of a evolutionary nature to it. We have to think in terms of how we will take this physical environment to a dynamic functional space, actually. Which it's very important in metaverse not to just have a movie running, actually. It's not a game. It's not something which I just wanted to communicate to somebody. In the digital metaverse space, people can also engage. A physician can engage in a operation theater. A teacher can engage with a student and teach something on a digital space, actually. Someone else who is running a transportation fleet can actually get into the road virtually and see how the road congestion or any other problem, traffic signals, all this will pan out in a digital space. I have seen yesterday a clip regarding shipping, actually. Somebody who wanted to manage a very big shipping port operation, they have to spend millions and billions to get things situated and then manage the operation. This can be done very easily in few minutes time on a digital space on metaverse. So these are all the explorations currently happening. We had to think about behavior, how people will react, interact with the space. We also have to think, how do we manage the activities? How do we communicate? How do we secure it, actually? We could not say that any content which we move it to a digital space in metaverse is free of cost. There is no overhead involved in it. There is no security involved. All this has to be core principles which we need to think about, actually. I would just quickly go over a few content. There is an evolution of the entire metaverse platform which is going forward. It's around 2015, 2016, that period. It just came out as an idea, mainly from the movie makers in San Francisco, LA region. They thought about converting certain amount of digital media content, wherein somebody who is remotely located in another country or another city could just participate, actually, virtually with a avatar model on the same digital space. That's how the entire idea started. It is still evolving in terms of different verticals. It is still evolving. So if you look into a real-time scenario, how do we envisage the entire platform? In the real world, we do have objects, house, car, factory floor, shops. We have objects, and we also experience that, actually. As a human being in a physical world, we do have an experience, actually. We take a coffee, we take a tea, we go to a restaurant, we do have an experience. We go to movie theater, we do have an experience. We also visualize because we can dream about it, actually. The same space, how things will get impacted onto my activity. That is about how do we vision the entire space. And then we are talking about the immersive nature of the metaverse. I can represent the entire two world, digital world and physical world in two stack, actually. And there is a divider. How do we transfer the content? How do we present the content? How do we provide the experience to the customer. That's where we are making value from there. So in the physical world, there are limitations actually. I can be in Chennai in one time on a given period, but I cannot be in Tokyo at the same time actually. I can be in one conference, but I cannot be in multiple conferences. 100 people, if you think in terms of multiplication, 100 people can be in one virtual space, or it can be in multiple virtual space, but in physically it is not possible. So there are limitations in the physical world which we are trying to overcome by Metaverse. I am a big fan of Vivekananda. I probably started my fictional journey of reading materials by looking at the life and teaching of Vivekananda. So I take some quote and then pass it from there. We are talking about taking the present and how we determine how do we shape the future from the present actually, from the present understanding about how do we go forward. So there is a lot of things which you can learn from what Vivekananda told. So look at the market, look at our business verticals, where we take this entire content creation, content presentation and engagement in terms of how do we accelerate actually. I am a member of Metaverse Standards Forum, which is a global industry forum, where we discuss across the industry partners and academic institutions, wherein we think that it's not just like, no, we have an internet in early mid 20th century, we created it, we let it play out in the open. Anybody from any verticals who do you wanted to use the internet, initially it started with the defense in DARPA in USA, but eventually it span out to every vertical actually. So how do we accelerate this entire technology? That's where we need to think about. So we are in the Metaverse Standards Forum, we are talking about this content standardization and the protocols. A lot of discussions are already going on since about 2-3 years. The efforts are going on. I am participating in few core task force under the forum. So my learning is actually when we propose something under the Metaverse, we are talking about some certain unique value creation. So when we take a technology to the market, we have to see how do we create the value, how to become the first to market actually. Because people who can be a leader have to define how do we take the entire platform towards a certain desirable outcome actually, which is reliable and authentic. So that's where we will be able to do something about it. I can talk about the industry forecast data. I have been watching the most leading industry development is happening in China. I looked at some of their forecast. They are talking about by 2030 around 500 billion worth of industry capital, capex, coming into this metaverse area. I can actually talk about some case studies. These are the clippings which I have. I can probably run a couple of clippings. This is a Cityverse content which I created for real estate, wherein I can take the entire real estate project into a virtual mode and present how this will pan out actually. So this is a meeting room wherein I am able to present a content which is live content into a meeting room, and people can go inside the meeting room and participate in actually. So they can react to a content and they can be with the content, and then also see how do we create value out of it actually. So in the real estate industry, a lot of this content can actually play out to market your property actually. That's one thing. These are real applications. The second one is in the construction engineering industry sector, there are VR applications currently already in the production in many sectors. They are already taking the infrastructure data into a real-time rendering of the infrastructure. And I'll click another one.
Confidence and accuracy of the
So
location.
somebody who is managing a property, they can
every locator to be as productive
vis-a-vis VR glass,
safe
look
and
at your
accurate
ground
as
reality and
experienced locator
work with
in
that
the industry.
and make it create a value.
Tremendous support for its partners.
It's about Microsoft HoloLens
Has been very beneficial
application.
to us as
That's
we
the third one. The fourth one is about mobility, actually. This is a Tokyo Seoul simulation of an actual transportation hub, which is a train station. They try to capture the entire data about passengers coming into the area, how the entire data can be virtualized into a metaverse platform, and then simulate different scenarios. If the volume goes maybe 50 times higher than the current volume, what will be the impact onto the metro station, actually. So these are just a few examples which I wanted to play it out, but we don't have a lot of time to go around the content. Again, I will just get onto the core part of the slide, the content. We will look into the technology. I wouldn't take this time to pass through the entire process of it, but just to give you 3 stages, actually. There is a pre-production stage where somebody have an idea that I want to present certain amount of content and design certain things around it. It can be a simulation, it can be a actual movie kind of content, it can be a game, but we simulate that situation and then do a production process. And then you actually send it into the public forum, and then let people react to it, actually, let people immerse with the content, actually. That's where the release part come in. I have been into this content related, data related forums. Probably in last year, there was a Dubai based forum about metaverse shapers. I participated in it and probably gave my comments and feedback into that. If you look at the entire content creation in the industry, all these big players like Apple, Pixar, Adobe, Autodesk, Nvidia, they are all there in the same space. They are trying to support the industry to go forward. They are putting a lot of millions into the same platform for the industry players and the academics to come on board and then start experimenting and then take this industry forward. So these discussions are going on. A lot of materials are available. I would just probably focus on OpenUSD. OpenUSD is basically about universal scene description. This is a metaverse standards which is coming up. The leading companies in this particular technology space is already participating. Autodesk using either Maya and other simulative content. Unity is another platform where they will allow you to visualize the content and present the content in the metaverse platform. So all this content creation enablement of technology is already happening. But what is going to define in the immediate to medium future is about how to accelerate it, actually. So there is a technology stream which is coming from web GPU and also the NVIDIA related quantum computing, actually. That's where the current limitations can be surpassed. That means current limitation is basically about bandwidth. It is about volume of data. So using the content, how do we present it to the metaverse and multiply the value? There is a limitation. So people are working on quantum computing to enable that part, actually. Why are we talking about all this technology adaptation? Because we are talking about a continuity of the technology as being in an operational stage, actually. We cannot just say that you just do some video game and just publish it and then we did our metaverse journey, actually. It is about having a continuous cycle of content creation, provision of contents, letting the people participate and being immersive into the content and keep the relationship of the customer going forward, actually. That's where the business management capability come in actually. It's not about just one-time delivery and just go back actually. It's not a commodity which we can sell it in an open market. I heard about Dr. Sentamare talking about just having a real estate selling a lantern. I have some different opinion about it. It's not about creating money actually using metaverse. It's about how do we regulate and manage a future for our society, for the global community actually. So there is a continuity value chain we have to think about when we talk about metaverse. I can talk about the industry partnership in greater length. I would quickly get to the core part of the metaverse management. That's the theme of this today's discussion. How do we shape the future business actually? There are core principles actually. When we talk about metaverse, we are encouraging everybody to go through this entire pipeline of metaverse content creation, experiencing, and also creating value out actually. So we have to keep certain ideals. I'm taking the words from Swami Vivekananda. We have to think about certain ideal value chain we can create that needs to be based on certain principles of truth, idealism, no harm to people, secure environment. So all these ideals we need to do it, keep it from the beginning actually. We are talking about creating the virtual management framework around information, around interpersonal communication, around the governance of the content. We also wanted to make sure that we are operating it in an optimum mode actually. So these are all the management principles we need to think about. ESG is because of the climate change and all this climatic impact. We also talk about how do we regulate the entire content in terms of how to create value around ESG. All these different vertical segments we can talk about. There are a lot of use cases available. I will skip some of this content. In terms of metaverse marketing, we need to identify where the market gap is actually, because whether it is in healthcare or whether it is in transportation, we need to identify certain specific market gap and try to build the metaverse applications around it actually. That's where we can attract the customer and we can create a value. When we create value, we just, I think Dr. Sentamare and also Dr. Mohanasundaram talked about how do we create the value and then monetize. When we create monetizing, it's not about NFTs and Bitcoins we are talking about. It can also be a real money actually, because when we talk about real estate, we are not talking about just digital money. It can be a real project which we want to sell it on a metaverse platform, and then we can create a customer around it actually. So when we talk about all this thing, there are several risk management issues involved in it. There are 6 areas which I can talk about: content related risk, operational risk, the market risk, financial, regulatory, and security risk actually. We can look into each of the risk and then see when we create a content and push it up to the platform, how do we manage and how do we make sure that there is accountability. So that's where the management capability come in actually. It's not just letting the thing play out. It's not a movie which we are playing out actually. We are talking about a regulatable product or a solution. Why am I talking about having a governance model and a management framework around it? Because when we talk about a real situation about a city, so I'm just putting the virtual city model in the middle. When we take this one and then move it to a proper business cycle, where every party, business owner, salesman, people who are onto the retail chain, or it can be a virtual space where we are managing the virtual space, or the customer. How do we take all these 2 parts of the business into a manageable framework? I looked at some part of how we translate the KPIs around business. I try to map it around it actually. Normally, when we talk about any product line, whether it is manufacturing or a service, we go through a certain amount of building, deployment, scalability, operational efficiency. How do we manage the entire operation? That's where the digital twin or a metaverse cycle, we have to think about how do we create the content and then build a business around it actually. And then we translate that entire metaverse content and a business cycle into creating value chain for the customer. I would take the entire market of from a silo-based content creation, like we talk about movies or some other content which we are going, from a silo-based approach to a contextual approach. When we talk about metaverse, we can also talk about very unreliable physical environment where we are unable to move from one city to another city or in a multiple location at the same time. Those are unreliable components in the physical world, which we have to move it to a reliable metaverse condition actually, wherein we can let anybody do whatever they need virtually at simultaneous mode. So the entire metaverse content is going to allow us to do that. That's where the value is going to be. So future is very bright on the metaverse. We just need to think about how do we go about it actually. Dr. Mohanasundaram, I am within the time. Please give me a sign on it actually. I'm going into look into the content creation. I just take the same teaching from Swami Vivekananda. It's about how do we decide and harvest what we are going to create actually. We can create so many content, let people think very wild about different verticals and they can imagine what we want to create and go with that actually. It can go into very diverse, disruptive mode actually. But from this teaching, I would say that we need to just think about how do we take it and then create better value, which will be of use to everybody. I put the entire content and the e-governance of this metaverse into three parts. How do we create value for citizen, the normal public? The second one is how do we take this public sector services? Whoever is in the government, how do we take this and then govern it and regulate it and then also create proper policies around it actually, because we cannot let like internet be an open platform, let people work around metaverse. You need to have proper policies in place to put it forward, which creates regulatable content and which are not offensive. And we cannot say that we created a content which is going to harm somebody's life. So there can be very negative impact from metaverse. We need to control that. That's one part of the public sector regulatory policy. And let the business play it out and create monetization procedures actually. I looked at the maturity part of the entire technology. It usually started from a domain called CAD, BIM. Then it merged with content creation using media, digital media process, then merged it and it is evolving. I'm going to probably quickly go into some governance aspect. This is a United Nations Habitat agency. They came up with a smart city related framework, how to govern and to create a governance framework around the thing. There are three parts to it. We need to create clear strategy where we take this platform forward actually and create meaningful systems and features and functions which can be used by anybody across any industry. We have to let people think about how to collaborate virtually on a metaverse platform. The third part is how do we regulate the technology? That's where we talked about Metaverse Standards Forum and those kind of industry relationship. How do we do that? In terms of governance, I strongly recommend using a COBIT framework where we can actually tailor the individual metaverse pipeline and let them have certain amount of maturity as it start creating the content and let people work through the content actually. I will slip through some use cases. Those are use cases in terms of how do we take this use cases into different spaces actually. So I'm taking two evolutionary graph, one from industry, another one from agriculture. So each of them from, if we talk about industry evolution from Industry 1.0 from a steam engine to mass production to current level of IoT and big data. The industry is fast growing along with the underlying technologies actually. Same thing is happening in agriculture. In Metaverse, we are trying to take this entire spectrum of industry sectors and fuse it into a single mode. So think about 2050 or 2040, a particular specific application in agriculture or a specific application in industry, how it is going to grow it and make value creation and proper governance and proper management principles followed in it actually. That's where the challenge is. We as a community from the management side, we need to think about how to take it forward. These are some of the case I can say. Virtual driving, I can go into a cube and then virtualize the entire city driving experience and let people drive virtually sitting on a chair actually. This technology is available now, people can do it. Recently, I looked at one of the case study in Africa, which is on the right side of the slide, wherein a virtual classroom was initiated in Africa, then try to let them do it actually. What did they find is actually in a physical classroom, they can teach about the metaverse and then tell them these are the things available. But when they go to their home, they don't have internet connectivity, they don't have a laptop, they don't have a mobile connectivity. So we need to also think about digital divide when we release metaverse content actually. I am a full-time, no, not I am actually, I was a full-time scientist with Space Research Organization. So I looked at space-related technologies and applications, and there is a lot of possibility in that. I'm probably going to wind up the discussion. This is a clear choice available for everybody to create value. There is a lot of technology parallelly growing. We need to think about taking this content and then creating something out. So these are the predictions which I'm talking about. Metaverse, along with artificial intelligence, machine learning, there is a market value spectrum which is coming up actually. So if you take this entire AI ML growth, it's going to be in under retailing, under transportation, healthcare, in academics and educational services. That's where the value chain is going to come in the coming future actually, immediate future, up until probably another 10-15 years. That's where the value chain is going to come. I looked at the possibility of the digital content and creating value. If you look at the chart at the bottom, if you look at the hype curve, we are actually trying to reach the customer. That's where we are actually. We are in the very first box, creating the content and creating the value and make sure that it is creating some kind of a feasible application which we can monetize. That's where we are actually. So from there, we need to take this entire industry of metaverse, buy vertical and then create a value, make it an autonomous, mature model in the future actually. I am a big believer of a CMM level 1 to 5 kind of a process, wherein we can take any industry, any process and make sure that we are able to let the entire platform work it out in the future. We need to think about creating leadership around different verticals. How do we standardize it? How do we digitize it? How do we create proper economic partnership around it? Because it's going to be multi-country, multi-domain kind of a platform where we need reliable, trustable, partners to come on board and create that kind of a value chain. ISOCARP, why am I talking about all this thing? This is about metaverse outcome. In a recent discussion with ISOCARP, which is an international forum for city planning and development, we talked about how do we take this metaverse forward and create value for everybody in a city, actually, everybody in a country. What do we do it actually? What we have found about, that's my opinion actually, when we create a digital content, it is a possibility that unlike your physical world, which is very diverse, I can go to Chennai, I can go to Delhi, I can go to Tokyo. each of the city look very different because their climatic condition, physical condition, their business culture, their cultural background, all are different. So whereas in digital content in Metaverse, it can be very monotonous. It can be stereotyped. So that's where the challenge is. I created some basic summary of the entire presentation. It's all about creating content and creating systems which are accessible, which can be inclusive. We want everybody to be participating into this platform and derive value for themselves actually. That is inclusiveness. We don't, in fact, there are a lot of features in Metaverse which will allow people who has got differently disabled capabilities. People have limitations of sensory capabilities. They can be also in a Metaverse platform because we can enable audio, we can enable sensory perceptions from a Metaverse content. We also talk about digital well-being because when we generate a content and put it into Metaverse, people under 20 years, teenagers, school students, they all can come into Metaverse and work on it, but we need to make sure that they are secure and they are not watching anything offensive actually. Cybersecurity, ethics related problems are there. We also talk about the entire interoperability between different sectors. I would just end up the discussion of my presentation by just one slide actually. Metaverse is not about gaming. It's not about movie creation. It's not about somebody to derive pleasure out of a virtual world actually. Not about NFTs and Bitcoins and creating millions out of the industry. It's about how do we take this facility and develop our society. How do we create our environment wherein our country, our city, our state can develop from the current state into a future state, wherein we will take this information. Metaverse is nothing but an information technology. We can go from different angle, different vertical, but these are basically an information technology. Take this information content to create that value chain under the development and planning scenario and grow from there. In terms of management related discussions in our community, we are basically taking the Metaverse content to create facility management, operations management, other management related value chain and optimize it. Because in digital content, unlike the physical analog situation, we can optimize. There are several ways to take this content and then optimize the system for everybody. So with that, I will just end my presentation. So I'm happy to be in this entire forum where we should think about how do we take this content away from gaming actually. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are grateful for the depth of knowledge you brought to the session. I would like to call Professor Dr. S. Kuppusamy, sir, Executive Director of Vivekananda Educational Institution, to facilitate the guest speaker. His experience is our age. We are happy to share a short clip of our ED, sir, who has exuberant experience in the field of engineering and education. Now, let us have a video on his profile.
Honor to welcome Professor S. Kuppusamy, sir, a distinguished academician and visionary leader in the field of education. He has made remarkable contribution in academic administration, research, and teaching, particularly in the field of computer science and mathematics. He has played an instrumental role in establishing and leading various prestigious departments, schools, and institutions, including the Department of Computer Science at Pondicherry Engineering College and Pondicherry University. His exceptional dedication to educational innovation and rural reconstruction has earned him numerous accolades, including the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan National Award for Best Engineering College Principal and the Lifetime Achievements Award from Nehru Group of Institutions. Professor Kuppusamy's extensive experience and active involvement with APAC's academic bodies such as MHRD, UGC, NAC, MBA, and AICT, have further solidified his status as a respected expert and leader in the academic community. Professor S. Kuppuswamy sir is unwavering commitment to excellence in education and research continues to inspire students and educators alike. His forward-thinking approach and exceptional leadership have made a lasting impact on the academic world. We are privileged to have him share his insights and knowledge, and we look forward to his continued contributions to the advancement of education. Please join me in welcoming Professor S. Kuppuswamy sir and expressing our gratitude for his presence and ongoing dedication to the field.
Yeah. Good morning. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Good morning to everyone present here, particularly the chief guest of the today's function, who has delivered an inaugural address, Mr. Vijay Nair, CEO of Nexus Space, UK and India. Then the guest of honor, who has given the theme of the conference, Dr. Sendamarai Gokulakrishnan, Dr.V.Mohanasundaram, the director of the Vivekananda Institute of Information and Management Studies, the coordinators of this two-day international conference that has been coined on a modern topic, that is navigating metaverse in shaping the future of business. The faculty members, the students and the participants of this two-day conference, and also the guest speaker who is also available, Dr. Anand Kulkarni, Professor and Associate Director of Institutional of Artificial Intelligence of MIT World Peace University, Pune, and all other attendees of this international conference. It's indeed a pleasure to be a. And of course, after hearing from Dr. Sendamarai Gokulakrishnan and also from Mr. Ajay Nair, I have not much to say on this topic because both of them have elaborately and very nicely given an introduction of the metaverse technology and what it is and what it is going to do in the future and so on. What I can just do is to correlate the developments that has happened with the digital technology over a period of time, which I had been a witness to it since the 70s, how the transformation of our life has happened because of the invasion of the digital technology that has come into our day-to-day life. See, looking at the earlier scenario, probably before the digital age, if anything that has to be depicted, then people need to draw, they have to showcase by means of the picture, or when the movie or the cinema field has come in, people have pictured it by means of drawings and creating the various virtual informations in terms of creating it as though that is real, and we have seen it in the form of movies. But after the introduction of the digital mode, that too after the internet, I think every field of our day-to-day life has been invaded. It's not only the business, it's not the gaming, it is not something in an industry, it is not in the agriculture. It's anything that you talk about, that is invaded by this digital technology. Of course, the internet is the one which has come into, which has come to stay with us. Because of this, we are much more comfortable today in transacting and communicating and so on. I always used to recall whenever I talk to my students that when I was young, we used to read the story of Sindubad. I think with a magic mirror, you are able to visualize what is there in the other part of the world. Where the Laila is there and so on. The story goes like that. It was a kind of a fiction where I was fascinated to read every day and see what is happening the next day. It was all imaginary. But in our real life, over a period of time, we have started slowly realizing, yes, it's possible. It's not only that whatever that has been depicted in our epics, either it's Mahabharatam or it's maybe a Ramayana, in which we say that they throw arrows, one arrow will go with fire, and the opponent will send another arrow with water, then it will get extinguished in the mid of the air. The war happens like that. And of course, during the Kuwait war, we have seen it in the screen in reality, how the Scud missiles have been sent and how that has been neutralized in the air and so on. So the evolution of the technology in different spheres has changed, or probably has brought whatever that we have read it in the epics, it has been brought into the real life. In the same sense, after the introduction of or the invention of the internet and also the digital media, the mobile phones, the communication and everything, it has really transformed our life in the opposite direction. Today, without a mobile phone, I think we are not in a position to have our day-to-day life perform. Whatever that you want to do, you require a mobile phone. Without mobile phone, you cannot operate. Now we are transforming or probably traveling, making a journey to the next phase of the technology. That is what we are all calling about Metaverse, which were clearly explained by both the guest speakers. They have given a wide spectrum of the plus and minus. I think including how the metaverse can play a role in agriculture itself. I was wondering why, when Mr. Ajay Nair did not touch in the initial phase the agriculture, but I saw the later, he has also made a presentation in the slide, how an agriculture has transformed. As industry, we say industry 1.0, 2.0, now 4.0, and we are heading towards 5.0. He also made it as agriculture. He is going towards the 4.0. Yes, it is true. It's a fact of life. We have to accept and adapt. But while we are, comforting ourselves with the developments and also the kind of, advancements that are happening, particularly the younger generation, should think about how to make it more safe for our day-to-day life. Because today everything happens in virtual. Your money is also in virtual mode. You do not know how your money is getting transferred from your bank account to somebody else's bank account. The security, the cyber security that what we call, is something which is also an important component that we have to talk about. When you are creating virtual mode, either it is an virtual reality or it is an augmented reality, whatever that you, or even a mixed reality, that whatever you talk about, to make our life comfortable in terms of realizing whether I want to become an architect. Yes, how do I use this to design my buildings to make it much better in terms of its look and so on and so on. the danger that is involved in terms of people getting into this immersive, using these immersive technologies to stealing your ideas, your creativity, and of course, changing your business into a different dimensions and so on, is the one which you have to look into that. I humbly request and our appeal to the youngsters and also the people who are doing research in this area to also look at it, the security aspect of the application that whatever that we developed, which will make us more comfortable. Like today, if I have not seen Eiffel Tower, I want to go and see see the Eiffel Tower, make a virtual tour. Yes, it's possible. I can see it in 360 degrees, or probably in not only 360 degrees, but also from the top and bottom in any angle that if you want to see. When you visit physically, you may not be able to visualize it the way in which how you can visualize it virtually. So that is also possible. It has been made because of the technological evolution. So while we are appreciating all that, I think we should also concentrate on the associated dangers that also are going to be present, because all the good people, they appreciate. The people who would like to misuse it, they always create problems for. As we have viruses, as we have the intruders, or people who are fishing out your transactions and things like that, all that kind of things also may happen. And of course, we may also be leading into a wrong place by means of virtually looking at it, because we do not know what is in the real sense. So we should also be a little careful. I think the future research should also address in this direction. That is my humble appeal to all the younger generation, maybe the students and the research scholars and the researchers and the professors and the people from industry, whoever it may be. I think with this small note, I'm really happy to associate myself with the inaugural function. I really appreciate the Vivekananda Institute of Information and Management Studies for having organized such a wonderful conference in the need of the, topic of the present day, and of course inviting the real experts in the field, conducting it on a virtual mode so that large number of people will get benefited out of this. I congratulate them. I wish them all the best. And also let me wish all the participants a wonderful session today and tomorrow. I'm sure at the end of this conference, you will have a food for your thought and something you will be able to contribute in this field in the days to come. Wish you all the best. Wish you all, and thank you for the opportunity that you have accorded to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Before we adjourn, let's take a moment to reflect on the key insight and take away from our discussion today. From insightful presentation to engaging discussion, it is clear that today's session has been both enriching and productive. I would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to our esteemed speakers for sharing their expertise and insights on metaverse management with us. Your contribution have truly enhanced our understanding of the topic at hand.
It's my pleasure to invite Professor T. Krishnakumar Sir, HOD of MBA VIIMS, to the virtual stage to deliver the vote of thanks. We welcome you, sir.
Good morning. It is my pleasure and privilege to deliver vote of thanks on this great occasion. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to our respected Chairman and Secretary, Vivekananda Educational Institutions, and the trustees for their incredible service towards the noble cause of women empowerment for the past 3 decades, and who are with us in all our deeds. On behalf of our management, Department of MBA and MCA, I would like to thank Mr. Ajay Nair, CEO Technology Solutions, Nexus Space UK, and Dr. Sindamarai Gokulakrishnan for sparing their valuable time with us. Thank you, dignitaries, for your most fascinating and engaging insights on the conference title. I extend my thanks to our legendary academician, our executive director, for his valuable presence and most inspiring felicitation. My thanks to our chief executive and research director in absentia for their generous support. My special thanks and appreciation to faculty team and students for hosting the international conference on navigating metaverse in shaping the future of business. But to me, it's not just confined to business world, but also maybe the right platform to discuss the applications of metaverse in solving the common problems of the entire humankind, like water management, waste management, and disaster management. My wishes and thanks to all the students, research scholars, and industrialists for their active participation and energetic presentation ahead. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you one and all who have brought this event together successfully. Thank you.
Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. A heartfelt welcome to all the guest speakers and the participants present here. We are sure you will enjoy the proceedings and we will appreciate your valuable involvement in making this international conference on navigating metaverse and shaping the future of business a grand success.
I would like to call upon Pooja R of First MCA to give an introductory speech of our first speaker of the day, Anant Kulkarni sir.
A warm welcome to all of you gathered here today. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest for this occasion. Computer Optimization from Nanyang Technology University, Singapore. MS in Artificial Intelligence from University of Regina, Canada. Bachelor of Engineering from Shivaji University, India. And Diploma from the Board of Technical Education, Mumbai. He worked as Research Fellow at Audit School of Business, University of Windsor, Canada. Anand is the founder of Optimization and Agent Technology Research Lab and has published over 75 research papers in peer-reviewed reputed journals, chapters and conferences along with 7 authored and 16 edited books. Anand is the lead series editor for Springer, Taylor and Francis as well as editor of several Elsevier journals. He also writes on AI in several newspapers and magazines. Anand has delivered expert research talks in countries such as USA, Canada, Singapore, Malaysia, India and France. We welcome you, sir.
Can you see my slides?
Sir, visible, sir.
Yes,
Visible.
sir.
Okay. And you can listen to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thanks Prof. Mohanasundaram for inviting me for this elite conference. I'm really delighted and feeling honored. I'm not WhatsApp friendly at all, so so sorry if I'm delaying in replying to your WhatsApp messages. So I truly apologize on that side. I must thank Dr. Kuppuswamy for his nice deliberation today. Dr. Nair from UK and Gopal Krishna from India. So thank you very much for a nice presentation, nice talk. In fact, I learned a lot from what has been discussed today since the morning. I'm happy that I joined early. So thanks for inviting me. As we are little delayed, I'll try because I have a meeting at 12:15 in other block. So I'll try to finish before that. I'll try to finish by 12:05 or 12:10. I'm basically a researcher. So my talk will be mostly related to research aspect of metaverse rather than and of course, a little on business side. But then regarding the true fascination about metaverse and all, I believe that it is not the time right now to think on that about how to get fascinated about metaverse. Of course, there are a lot of things to get fascinated, but then I will be speaking more about research aspect of it. So before proceeding, I'll just my presentation, my introduction is already given, so I don't have to really go through all these details. But then these are the books that I have written so far. So these books, if anybody of you if interested to have these books, please let me know. I can provide a copy. One more thing is that these are the algorithms that we have developed here. I mean, I've been working in AI for past about 21 years now. I'm basically a mechanical engineer, but then since I finished my bachelor's in 2002, but since 2000 year 2000, I started working on AI, keeping mechanical engineering little behind. But then we are solving problems from mechanical engineering, transportation, civil engineering, VLSI domain, and so many other things. So this is what my profile is all about. And we have been developing the fundamental work here at the MIT WPU Institute of AI. If any one of you is interested to work with us, I'm asking faculty members as well as to students who are interested to develop work on fundamental algorithms on nature-inspired optimization methods, nature-inspired algorithms. Please do contact me. I'm available for all kind of research discussions, writing books, writing papers, and so on. As mentioned, that I'm associated for the engineering applications of artificial intelligence and some other book series as well. But then I would like to invite you people, if those researchers, by the way, to write their papers for our special issue. The special issue is meta-heuristics for sustainable manufacturing. I believe now, as we all know, SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, so 1 to 17, all talk about kind of self-sustainment or say automation, but we are going towards complete automation so that the utilization of the available resources can be done as much efficiently as possible. So this will help all of us to save the resources, because the population of the world is somewhere around 7.5 billion, and the resources gonna be the same. They will be constant, but how to utilize them to the best so that today's generation, the next hundreds or even 1,000 generations will have no scarcity for it. Okay, so that is what we are working on. I believe AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning goes on those lines as well, or you can say it is on the line of sustainability, because if efficiently managing of the resources, it can be done in automation, and AI is taking towards complete automation. So if you're interested, any one of you interested, you can please submit your paper. I can help you in getting it reviewed and all this. So just this is kind of considered invitation for every one of you attendees here. So regarding today's talk, what we will do is that we all know what is meant by metaverse, but I will go in little different way for it. Little is my understanding, because in research nothing is wrong, nothing is right. So everything is based on views, facts, and validations. So we will go through what is meant by metaverse. We'll see what are the features of metaverse, its applications, and as it has certain features, the applications are there. But applications are all through the because there is a need of metaverse. Okay, there's need of complete automation. There is a need of omnipresence. So this is kind of saving the resources that we are using. For example, now we have elections going on. So rather than every party leader to travel every part of the state or every part of the country, that may not be possible in this 45 days. So there are ways by which he can be present there through a virtual environment. So that's kind of metaverse. So this is kind of application and need of today as well. Okay. there are certain opportunities, and then there are certain technologies which are being used with Metaverse and will be used with Metaverse. So it is not necessary that everyone has to come up with a kind of AR VR application. But then there are so many other technologies being applied, being used, or being converged for one video or one virtual meeting going on, suppose. Okay, but then there are so many small technologies, but significant technologies being employed and converged to get that meeting done virtually. Okay, so not necessary that your presence or as a researcher, everyone will be what I can say will be available or will be delivering or making that virtual presence happen. But then there are certain technologies where we can work on. So I will just give you all those basic details. So going towards Metaverse, basically it's kind of it's not new term. Okay, people always talk about that. It's a new term, and it's there since 2010. Or some people say Meta is become more popular when Facebook came, because Facebook changed its name to Meta. Okay, and then people say, oh yeah, so something like Metaverse and now virtual world. Then augmented reality, virtual reality, and so on. But then there's a book by Neil Stephenson back in 1992. Okay, it's available on Amazon in different languages. You can buy. I read a little part of it, but this is really a nice book if we really want to go into roots of Metaverse. And if you want to really make a career in Metaverse, I believe this book needs to be read, because this gives the very idea of somebody being present in today's world, okay, physically, and somebody fictional by the way, because in 1992 computers were also not that fast. Okay, internet was very slow. It just began, by the way, not very slow, just began. But then at that time he gave the very idea of something which is referred to as a virtual presence. And then we as a human can be present at different places in different forms, maybe a kind of god, maybe a businessman, and so on. Okay, it's a fictional book. You may read it. It's good. I'm reading it right now, but then somehow I got it quite late, at very early this year I got this book. Okay, anyway, so Metaverse is kind of you can take it as a augmented reality, virtual reality, and now mixed reality. Mixed reality is still is kind of concept, but it's upcoming now. Okay, but then it's kind of immersion of a physical world into virtual world. You can say VR is virtual reality is like we are going into virtual world. Okay, and AR is like a virtual world is around us. And in mixed reality, both can come together. So this is basically kind of our avatars can go into the virtual reality and do the work there, and we can have our what we can say. We can have our meetings done. We can have the surgeries done, and so many other things. Okay, so this is a kind of metaverse. What we can say is it's a metaverse domain. Okay, but then why this metaverse is so important today? Why is like that? We think of the simulations that we used to do quite long back, because I'm a PhD in 2011. Okay, at that time metaverse was nowhere, but then we used to do even during my masters we used to do simulations in MATLAB, that we used to build some agents and solve our problems of mechanical engineering. So how these agents jump into different domains, they find the local solutions, then the better local solutions, and so on and so forth, and then try to find the best possible optimum solution. So this is kind of multi-agent systems that we used to work on, but then we never created the agents physically, but the problems for us was solved virtually. That was in the simulation environment. But then you can see that but then you can see now, rather than actually building the like you can see here the GIF, rather than actually building the maybe a statue, or maybe a monument, or maybe really a building or an apartment, So rather than building it and later see that how the wind is developing, how how taking the shocks and all those other things in the simulation world, we never want to go and first build in a bricks and mortar way, like a real establishment, and then test it. But then with the advent of computers and then the fast programming ways, then the AI, what we do is that we come up with some kind of a simulation environment, and then we test over there that how the wind could, where there could be how much shocks it can take, how would be the wind development, what will be shocks due to wind, and so many other things. Okay, so this is the basis for the metaverse, you can say. But then later on, with the universe that we are living in, which is a physical universe, we are going towards the virtual universe, so which is referred to as meta universe. Okay, in the sense that, see, everybody like Prof. Ajay was talking about it on this one, that everybody wants to be I mean, they want to be omnipresent. Okay, I also want to be actually be happy to attend this conference at the Chennai, but then that's not possible for me every time. That may be possible for me once in a year. But then rather than that, why don't we all sit together and have a meeting, okay, and have a presentation? So because I don't want to take the company name, but then about 6 or 8 months back, I happened to go to Bangalore to one of the companies, and where we had a meeting. But then we actually had a virtual meeting. I was the only one present in Bangalore. Okay, but then I'm one person from Bangalore company as well. But then other people from all over the world, we joined in a meeting room where we all were sitting. Me and my friend, we were sitting physically, but then other people were sitting virtually, and we had a capacity of 7 people only. And then nobody could enter the meeting room, and then we had a nice presentation, we had a nice meeting, and so on. Okay, so this happened because of this kind of metaverse technology that is being developed. It is getting very popular these days. So what I want is that don't take it as a fantasy, but take it as a true and real problem which we can actually contribute to, because we want to go towards sustainability. Now over here, if you can see that a girl, okay, the girl walking through some bazaar there, okay, I believe this is from Dubai. Okay, I happened to visit Dubai last year, and then I happened to go through that market and all. And so, in fact, now I can see, I mean, the girl is looking at some kind of objects there in that bazaar. The actual bazaar was the same, exactly the same that I can see right now. Okay, this is kind of a revelation of something which is very, very futuristic, but it's not very far, because we never thought that we will, I mean, at least for me, that like I will be building AI models, I'll be building some like in content generation softwares and all. But then I can see with the advent of computers, with the AI, and with the fast pace, I guess within the next about 5 years, everything will go so much virtual that most of things will be very much possible to do while I'm sitting in the office. But I don't think I have to come to office. I can do everything from sitting my home. Okay, so that's the beauty of metaverse, or you can say the world of artificial intelligence contributing to metaverse. Now, see, it's not metaverse, you can say, it started somewhere from gaming. Actually, the concept started from gaming. Okay, gaming is not important at all, because that was kind of entertainment. But I believe that gaming is no more important for the world to progress. Okay, I'm not against gaming, but that's not important for the world to look 10 years ahead. Okay, but then according to the PricewaterhouseCoopers, 1997, the gaming business was somewhere around $42 billion. Okay, but in 2021, it reached to 214 billion. Okay, it's because the entry of Facebook into the metaverse business. Okay, or they changed their name from Facebook to Meta. Okay, and now their investment is somewhere around 10 billion. People say that it's failure, but then I can tell you that AI is also was considered earlier as a failure. It was true because it was shown as a kind of something amazing. It will do everything for you. Okay, it is true that AI can do a lot of things for you today, but not everything today. So if we talk about, I'm talking about AI myths being discussed earlier back in 2000 or even till 2005, 2006, in fact 2010 also. Okay, people are used to ridicule AI. Okay, they say, oh, it's all computer, only computer. What you are doing, a computer will do everything. AI will never happen, and so many other things. But then now I can see that AI is everywhere. So today, Meta, people always say Meta is a failure. I'm talking about Meta from Facebook. Okay, it's a failure. But I can tell you that within the next 3 to 4 years, it will catch up. And we are the ones, as a faculty members, as a researchers, as a students, we have to be part of that. I'm not asking you go to Facebook, but I'm talking about understanding or learning the methodologies, learning the techniques, learning the approaches to contribute to Metaverse. Okay, so this is what I would like to say. Again, the McKinsey also gave the report in June 2023. I believe that the new report will come by July. That's from June 2023 to July 2023 to June 2024, about how Metaverse is being used in the business, basically. Okay, so it's a kind of about 5 trillion business up till now, from home, from smart homes systems, from food, then apparel, and all where AI and Metaverse is being used, okay, extensively, and the business is somewhere around $5 trillion US. Okay, I do not give importance to this 5 trillion or 10 billion or 214 billion. These numbers, I'm talking about the opportunities being generated. Okay, and we have to be part of that. Now, see, there are certain features of Metaverse which are being addressed, being developed. And so today I'm talking about some of the features, but then maybe after 1 year, whatever I have been presenting here may not be sufficient, and there could be something very, very new features of Metaverse being revealed, and it could be complete change of business. Okay, I'll show you something about this. I hope you can listen to the video, to the audio in the video that I will be showing. Now, this is a company. I'm not marketing person for Rephrase AI. Okay, they don't know me. Okay, I also don't know them. But then they're not paying me a single penny for it. Okay, but then I just want to show how this Metaverse is making our avatar, being omnipresent everywhere. Okay. We always talk about deepfake technology, which is not good for us. We say that it's very dangerous. But I'll show you how this Metaverse making us being omnipresent and being useful in several ways. Okay. Now, this Shah Rukh Khan does not have Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. We have some power outage. Okay, anyway, never mind. I'll just keep my video off. Huh? Okay. I hope you can hear me now. But so I would just share this how Shah Rukh Khan can, his avatar can speak for every pin code numbers. Okay, so I'll show you how it works. Okay.
आप भी अपने पास वाली choice of fashion से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना। पास वाले आजकल फैशन से ही, रॉयल फैशन से ही, एनके क्लॉथ से ही, पास वाले लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना। इस दिवाली आप
Different versions of the same ad with local store names were targeted as per the PIN code of the viewer.
So basically, using deepfake technology and AI audio generation, they're able to create customized targeted ads for consumers across social media using a single video of a celeb.
So this shows that how his avatar of one person can speak at different platforms for different pin codes. But this is not the only way. This is one more video so that we're able to understand how the elections can be fought, okay, or can be competed using our avatar. Now, avatar can be this avatar, which is a virtual avatar of one of the presidential candidate in Korea. He is present everywhere, okay. He is giving the public speech in one city. His avatar is attending some gathering. His second avatar is giving a presentation at somewhere, maybe another in the press conference, attending the student press, and so many other things. Okay, so I'll just share this video with you, and you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about.
Now, they say politicians will do anything for votes. A presidential candidate in South Korea is redefining what that means. He has created a digital avatar of himself to sway voters, a deep fake model to make himself appear, quote unquote, cooler. The name of this man is Yoon Suk-yeol. He is being called the world's first deep fake candidate because his digital avatar is finding more traction than his real self. The story is strange. You have to watch our next report to fully understand it.
AI 윤석열입니다. 김땡땡님 질문.
Meet Yoon Suk-yeol, a South Korean attorney, a former public prosecutor, and now a presidential candidate. But the man you're seeing right now is not really him. It's AI Yoon, his digital avatar. A deepfake model made with hours of specially recorded footage. What for? To make this middle-aged politician look cool. Exactly. With salty language, witty words, and meme-ready quips. All in a bid to engage young voters who get most of the news online. This concept is gaining traction in South Korea, which has the world's fastest average internet speeds. The creators used more and more in future elections.
후보가 미처 하지 못하는 답변들을 하려고 하는데
It's so easy to create huge amounts of content with deepfake technology as long as staffers spend some time on it. It is inevitable that this will be used more and more in future elections.
AI Yoon is the world's first official deepfake candidate. With neatly combed hair and a smart suit, it looks uncannily similar to the real Yoon. Only that it's more humorous, more charming, and less politically correct. It mockingly refers to the South Korean President Moon Jae-in as...
Okay, so importantly, this presidential candidate won the election with the record margin. Okay, I'm not saying because of the metaverse or because of the digital avatar that he's presenting, but because he showed that he is available everywhere for everyone. And importantly, you know what, the thing is, his avatar kept learning from the questions being asked by people, the way the answers are given, and based on whatever the large language model they have followed. Okay. Yeah. Now another thing is that what is important here is a blockchain based operations. Okay, because metaverse is featured by these operations. Now, importantly, you can buy some virtual space. Okay, now what is meant by virtual space here? Now I'll just show you something. Look at this. Okay, we have some kind of virtual space, okay, bought by someone, and he's selling these ones, giving the NFT to each and every one of this, each and every of this. So it means that the NFT is given based on the pixels over here. Okay, and then what they ask for, or what it demands for, is that people can come buy this space, okay, buy these pixels, and they can have their own kind of what I can say, some kind of virtual space there where they can have some kind of fun going on, where they can have some kind of recreation club they can open for people. Okay, this is what they mean for. But then what is important here is kind of advertisement. Okay, so they make people come for a virtual say recreation, okay, maybe you can say, and then you come and then you dance there, you have your entertainment. At the same time, they will have their billboards around, okay, those advertisements. So whatever we are doing at this the very physical world, now it is becoming in the virtual world. Okay, so I don't have to go to California for maybe to casino or something, but I don't, or maybe I don't know, I have to go to Singapore for my conference, but then I can be here and I can do my conference. Okay, this is the way it works. Now, why this is considered as, there are several companies, by the way, working in this, but they claim that this is very safe, okay, because they have NFT, okay, non-fungible token. It means that it is given based on the so it is very, very difficult or quite robust. Okay, so this is what the important thing. Now, education and training is one of the very important aspects. Earlier, you can see these images. When we were in the college or university, we used such kind of photos and we used to have such kind of 3D sketches. But now we don't have to really go and imagine the little parts of it. I can just open it, or I can just go into each and every component of this using the AR and VR experience. The shopping is an aspect, okay, where I don't have to really go to the market and see how the shoes fit to me, how they look at me. I can use my my VR experience, or you say AR experience, and I can see and I can check it. Even for girls, lipsticks and all of this. The jewelry business is making really a big thing, okay, because of what I can say, because of the COVID, thanks to COVID, that we don't have to really go to the business store, but we can just check by ourselves. One more thing is that the healthcare business is coming really amazing in the sense for operations. Okay, just near my place, just in Pune, we have several hospitals around, and one of the hospitals has now implemented this augmented reality surgery systems. Okay, I'm going to visit it. It's not new in the field of healthcare, it's everywhere present, but then I believe that this is going to be a game changer. Okay, this is going to be a game changer. If you remember that about 3 years back, one of the man from I believe Egypt or some country, he's a huge man. Okay, huge man. He's a very fat and huge man, and he wanted to have a surgery on his body so that the extra fat can be cleaned. Okay, but for that one, he had to come from that country to India, and then he had to do the surgery. But for him, a lot of changes had to be done in the airplane as well as in his seats and all this. Okay, he came to India and then he did his surgery. Unfortunately, he could not survive. He passed away. But then I can tell you that such kind of surgeries can be done without bringing him back to to India or to the real hospital. He can be in the hospital in his own country, and the doctors in India or some other country do the surgeries here with the same accuracy, with the same precision, same. I believe that the cost right now is very high, but then as the technology progress, okay, the technology will always become available for the common man. For example, the cell phones that we are using right now, I believe this cell phone, my father bought the cell phone back in 1990, 1 lakh rupees. Okay, but then that kind of phone is not available anymore. But then with the features million times better are available in today's phone with a cheaper price of around 10,000, 15,000 also. Okay, so technology will take its time to become available for everyone, but we have to be patient on that side. One more I believe I forgot here is that regarding the fashion industry or jewelry making industry, there are so many technologies coming, okay, even with the shopping and with the education. The technologies are not only related to AI, okay, but then they are related to the 3D modeling and reconstruction as well. Now you see that in the parcel of land where the people will buy the land and they will build their own shopping complex over there. They will build their own recreation parks in the virtual space. For that, we need 3D modeling and reconstruction engineers. We want the experts there. Okay, so think on it's not like we have to know AI for getting into metaverse, but we have to be someone who is good at our own cutting edge technology. That's very important. Okay. One more thing is that edge computing. I hope everyone knows about cloud computing. So cloud computing is nothing here, like in case of big data, you can imagine all the data being generated with a very high volume velocity, and those 5Vs, that is all is collected at the cloud. Over there, the analysis is done, the conclusion is drawn, and then the required data is sent back to the user or to the researcher. But in the data is increasing so much because of the IoT, okay, Internet of Things, because most of the digital devices are getting connected with one another, and it is actually increasing the number of users, number of data. So rather than using the cloud as the main computing device, what we need to do is that we need to use the edges. So little clouds at maybe your university, a little cloud at maybe my lab, little cloud maybe in my office as the time will progress. And then over there, how to maintain that cloud, how to get hardware getting cheaper, okay, how to make them seamless, maintain it. So all these are also one of the domains where metaverse can be implemented, but in more seamless way, okay. Now coming to the artificial intelligence, of course, metaverse, what comes at the bottom, or say at the foundation, is artificial intelligence and machine learning. So think on those AI-based methods, learn those methods. Importantly, what is required for if you start working into the programming of metaverse, okay, mathematical modeling of this is the simple 7, 8, and 9 standard mathematics, okay. Because if you are good at that mathematics, I'm not talking about earning high marks in those standards, but understanding the meaning of every variable, every parameter, every constant, why the constant is like this, what is meant by derivative, what is meant by partial derivative, and so many other things. So these are things that we need to understand for making the foundation, so that we can enter into this multi-trillion business coming in by the end of this decade. Okay. Now, importantly in all this is the digital twin technology. Okay, in the sense that we, as I mentioned, that we, rather than going towards the simulation in just a simulation in on my computer, what if I get the real data? Okay, real data, real environment of metaverse. I really created I virtually created all the building blocks of my real world in the virtual environment. So in that case, what is the new technology important, or what is the new aspect of this is the digital twin. Okay, so I believe that in India we have 140 crore people, and then I believe 30%, 40% people are younger than 35 years old. We should have our age on this kind of technology, so that we can control the business of this, what I'm talking about. Now, coming to my last slide, is that we talk about AI, we talk about computers, we talk about metaverse now, okay, in this today's 2 days conference. But then the heart of all this technology is the semiconductor, okay, and India is nowhere in semiconductor, nowhere, okay, because Taiwan produces 50% chips, China about 5%, Korea 17%, some percent by Philippines, and some percent by Japan, okay, very little. But India is nowhere there. But then some part is done by US, but then those are mostly for defense purposes. But then I can tell you that tomorrow, if there is a war between China and Taiwan, then this 50% will go, and India's metaverse dreams, AI dreams, computer dreams, all will be in big trouble. Okay, I can tell you that this happened back in 2020 when the time of COVID was there. Okay, several cars were produced, but then because the Taiwan was even China and South Korea, all entire world was affected due to COVID. What happened was the supply of these chips actually reduced, or you can say stalled for some time. Stalled. Okay, so what happened? What happened at that time? Okay, the cars were produced, but it had no chips, so the cars cannot be rolled in the market. So cars were lying at the factory. The sale of computers and the cell phones was increased so much that those Taiwanese and Chinese as well as Korean, Japanese companies already were running on full load. They had to increase their manufacturing capacity of these chips. Okay, so but then I can tell you that for making any chip, any small chip, okay, by the way, in a cell phone, generally we have 1 or 2 chips here. Okay, and every chip has both of the chips have almost around 200 crore or 2 billion transistors. Okay, and then those transistors are connected using those links. Okay, the connections which are at least 100 times smaller than the thickness of our hair. Okay, so such kind of technology is very much demanded, because in India we cannot be just service providers all the time. We cannot be just the ones who are buying the software and getting the things done and then again delivering back to the Western world. Gone those days. Because if we have to have or you can say at the forefront of the AI technology or even metaverse technology, then we have to look into the semiconductor technology as well. Thanks to thanks to today's government, or maybe the vision of the Indian government, as I say, that this in Dholera, in Sanan, as well as in Assam, we have now chip production factories. So in Dholera, we have 800 billion rupees, ISRO 80 billion rupees of the chip production. But then chip assembly is another business. Okay, it's another big thing that gonna be done in Assam. So chip assembly means it's a cutting and assembly for a particular application. Generally, if we give the order to the semiconductor company for making a chip, it will take at least 15 days for designing, and then at least next 15 days for making the chip. Okay, at least 15 days. Okay, it may go to 3 months also. But then why it requires so much is because there are so many operations done on a single chip. I think for a single chip, there are around 700 different operations done on that chip so that it can be made ready for assembly. Okay, so I believe that this is one of the business that is coming to India, which will be helping the metaverse to come into being, basically. Okay, so it is not only the people who know programming, but this is for the mechanical engineers also, that metaverse is bringing some kind of boon for us, some kind of a big opportunity for us in India. So everyone should not be looking for only programming, only the software development, but I believe the mechanical engineers, electronics engineers will have heydays in the upcoming about 20 years. Okay, so this is what I would like to mention about metaverse and upcoming technologies associated with metaverse, because there are experts in this talk today, which are basically giving the idea about metaverse and other technologies associated with it. But my talk is limited to the opportunities of it and how that can be enabled. So I'm done with my presentation. Do you have any queries or questions?
No, sir.
Yeah, I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you, sir. Your insights and expertise made a significant impact, and we are grateful for your valuable contribution. I would like to call upon Here's the hour of first MBA to give an introductory speech of our next speaker of the day, Arindam Chaudhary, sir.
A very warm welcome to all of you gathered here today. It's given me immense pleasure and honor to introduce our esteemed chief guest for this occasion, Arindam Chaudhary, Associate Professor Analytics at Great Lakes Institute of Management. He holds a PhD in Computer Science from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. His area of interest lies in data analytics, statistics, machine learning, deep learning, and mathematical finance. About his experience, he has more than 2 decades of experience in research, teaching, and industry. He has worked as a postdoctoral fellow with the University of Cape Town, Denmark, and Technical University of Berlin, Germany. He also worked as a researcher with VIIMS Research Labs at Amsterdam and Samsung Research Labs at New Delhi and Bangalore. He has published 50+ Scopus research articles and filed 5 patents. Domain experience. He has experience of more than decades and 24+ years of domain experience in machine learning and deep learning models. He has many reviewer of many journal and conference, Springer, IEEE, Elsevier, ACM, and CRC papers. We welcome you, sir.
Yeah. So good afternoon to all of you, and kind of you introducing me. So I will just share my screen at first. Wait a minute. Let me share my screen.
Okay,
I'll
sir.
just share my screen. Just give me a moment.
No issues.
Yeah, I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Wait a minute. I will open my slides. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I will just place them in the PPT mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just give me a moment.
Take your own time, sir.
So yeah. Okay. So thanks a lot for allowing me to speak over here. And in this time, to be very honest and frank, in this given amount of time of less than 1 hour, I was just trying to think that which topic I will talk upon. Okay. So I just chose this topic. This is a very broad topic from the machine learning and AI perspective. And we will talk on optimization. I will just try to bring in a few
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Wait a minute. I think I got
Yeah.
Now is it all right?
Now it's all right. Now it's all right.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'll just repeat that part. I think that
No issue.
mute and unmute that yeah.
Okay.
So I was
Okay.
just trying to say that I am just talking on this topic of machine learning, on the optimization perspective, which is a very important topic from the machine learning as well as the AI perspective. People are running after this topic. And this topic, which I'm going to say over here for less than 1 hour time, I have got a good number of slides, but I won't be able to cover all of them. I will cover few of them in this given amount of time till 1 o'clock. So this topic is the presentation which you will see over here is quite mathematical in nature, which of course our young students, when we teach to these postgraduate students at our institute, they are scared of. Even when the PhD students come in, they do their coursework, they are still scared of, but they have no way out. They have to do it. Okay, so this set of slides I have taken from the NeurIPS. NeurIPS is a very famous venue of machine learning, and generally what I'm going to speak over here for this time is on the optimization part, on the initial development of the machine learning. See, generally these days, last 10 years or so, starting from 2011-12 only, with the growth of deep learning and the deep networks, the entire paradigm or the entire thought process of the machine learning has changed altogether, right? And deep learning is applied almost everywhere, not almost, it is applied everywhere, starting from life sciences to FMCG, to retail, to finance, to marketing, and everywhere, to manufacturing, everywhere. Okay. So prior to the growth of the deep learning, or the evaluation of the deep learning, which took place 10-12 years back, there was one more version of neural network, which was known as the neural network of 2000. I think somebody is speaking at the back end. Can you ask that person to mute that person? Okay. Okay, now, yeah. Support vector machines have been, wait a minute. Yeah. So have been very much useful in those years. Okay. So in fact, during my PhD days, I used a lot. Still, it is being used. And one of the important challenging problems of machine learning, and as well as in the computer vision domain, is the face recognition. So people used, in fact, I use support vector machines for implementation, and the accuracy which I got over there was almost 98%. Okay, so that was a strength over there. Yeah, well, when we use deep learning, we almost get 100% accuracy. I do understand, but still, support vector machines is one of the promising tools. It has fine applications, a lot of applications in the finance domain. Okay, in the manufacturing domain, I have used it a lot. Okay, so keeping that in view, I'll just try to bring in a few things. Now, one of the big strengths, okay, people have been using the neural networks since 1960s. People have been using, and neural networks is the backbone, or one of the most common topics of one of the most fundamental topics of machine learning. Okay, so when we were students, we used to say that machine learning is generally neural networks, right? So what was a big problem people used to face in neural networks? So one of the biggest problems with the neural networks usage was the training. Okay, so these are all dumb boxes, dumb black box structures, which huge number of variables. Okay, so the complexity of the entire framework grows a lot. Okay, and training is very painful over here. So there was a time when to train a simple neural network of, let's say, 5-6 layers is to take few days. So we don't have so much time in the business, right? So to take care of that, sometimes around 90s, in the mid 90s, there was one Russian mathematician. His name was Popnik. He and few of the students, one of them was Burgess, they started this theory based on the statistical learning theory of support vector machines. The big strength of this support vector machines was that for training, you don't require that huge data set, few million records, few million data points is not required. You can train a support vector machine, or a support vector machine can get itself trained through a limited set of data points. Because see, one more problem when we talk with the business people or wherever we go, nobody is ready to share the data, right? Because sharing the data means, from the company perspective, from the business perspective, you are sharing your trade secrets. So people shy away. See, I worked in Samsung for a long time, for a period of 8-9 years, and people were reluctant because Samsung had so many competitors during that time. Mobile was being developed by so many companies, okay, and every now and then that how much acceptability of the Samsung phones or the Samsung smart TVs was a big part of the story. Okay, so that was one of the reasons why companies were reluctant, or why companies shy away to share their secret data. Now, this has been a very big challenge all through, and to take care of this from the training perspective also, when you have a limited data, you do your training very smoothly, it takes a less amount of time. This was one part where why support vector machines have found a niche place in this domain. Now, one more reason was the dimensionality of the data. We come across high dimension data. Okay. See, suppose I give Excel file, we give Excel files to our students. Now, these Excel files, these Excel spreadsheets, which we share with our students, they have a lot of columns. Okay, a lot of columns. Let's say 6-7 columns is a traditional way. Let's say I want to do some stock market analysis data, and there are ideally 6-7 columns over here, over there. Now, suppose you deal with any manufacturing data. It may have few thousand columns. If you can look at this Kaggle website, you will get these data sets. Or if you look at a life science data, suppose you want to prepare a drug, okay, and that drug has so many compositions of sulfur and carbohydrates, and so many things are over there. So this is all, no, it's not it is stationary over there. I am speaking on that slide, Ajay. I am speaking on that slide, so I haven't removed the slides. Okay, so it's not a problem. Yeah. Okay. No issues. I'm just trying to create the base, and then I will move forward. Okay, so now when you come across these files, they have gotten huge number of columns. The number of the attributes, these columns are basically the attributes or the characteristics or the features of the data, and they pose a big challenge, because see, the human mind, the human eye is very much comfortable when there are lesser number of columns, ideally 2-3 columns. Even 2-3 columns becomes a very big problem. Okay, so this is one challenge, the dimensionality. It's also known as the curse of the dimensionality problem, which support vector machines have taken care of. Okay, so that was also one of the growing reasons, one of the reasons which led to the growth of support vector machines altogether. Okay, now based on this, this tool became so famous, and initial days in those the year 2004-05, I remember we used to write all these codes in the MATLAB. Was that SIM was a library which we used to use, okay, in the MATLAB, and on top of it, many more libraries came up during that decade. Java was one more language which we used a lot. I was a Java programmer for a long time, but after 2009-10, a language which came and which has which has created a revolution in the machine learning and in the data science and data analytics, whatever you can say, is the Python language. So Python, very much like the Java language, is a library-based language, is an object-oriented language, and it comes with beautiful features. Okay, because the growth of the deep learning took place through the growth of the Python language. Okay, and a very common library, very commonly used library, where you will find the SVM, support vector machines, is the sklearn library. So that is one library where you will find this tool, and generally you have to import the library and you have to run a few line of codes. There are various optimization libraries also we have over here, and you will run the codes, and then you will do all your things. Okay, so based on this, I will just talk on this. Optimization is one more part where we look to refine the results we have. Okay, now wait a minute, just give me a moment. I will go to the next slide. So this is what the basic machine learning is all about. We talk of the supervised learning, we talk of the unsupervised learning. So these are the two forms of learning which we have. Supervised learning is the classification where there is an instructor. The learning which I am trying, the lecture which I am trying to deliver to you is a supervised learning. It's a kind of supervised learning. Next type of learning is the unsupervised learning or the clustering. Okay, so this is the next form of learning. Okay, now SVM is basically a supervised learning tool. When we talk of neural networks, they are basically supervised learning tools. But when we talk of the deep networks, they are amalgamation of the unsupervised as well as the supervised learning. Generally, unsupervised learning or clustering, which you can see on the screen, is used for feature selection. Okay, so I told, like in an Excel file, you can take so many attributes, so many columns over there, and not all the features are relevant for the problem to solve, right? So you will resort to this unsupervised learning to identify the relevant features over there. Okay, so coming back to the idea of this supervised learning, and the most common form of the supervised learning is the classification, and the next one is the regression. So you can see some examples over here. Okay, now you find a patient's blood pressure, weight after several years. You would like to know whether he or she is recovering. You are trying to build upon machine learning model over here, and based on this previous experience, you are given a data of a new patient. You find the blood pressure, weight, and then based on that, you try to see what this new where this new patient is going to stand. Okay, so ideally, as I told you, there are two stages, as you can see over here. One is the training part, and of course, with the training, there is something called validation, which we do. We have the training data, we split up into some ratio of 70-30 or 80-20, and then we get the third-party data. Okay, when we get the third-party data is where the training has not been done. It is an unknown, unseen data. Okay, now the strength of the model or the strength of the framework which you have developed will come into picture through this third-party testing data. Okay, and 10 out of 9 times it is seen that the model which runs well during training and the validation, training is the learning. During the validation, it gave you a good accuracy, 98-99% accuracy, but during the third-party unknown data, it shoots down, it falls down to, let's say, 70-75, and we are speechless. What took place? Where my training? What went wrong in the model altogether? See, ultimately, whatever things you are doing during the training and the learning phase, that hard work, not only the hard work, but the resources which are spent, the money which is being spent over here to develop these complicated models all together, if they don't do the desired work during the testing phase, during the unknown third-party business phase. See, testing is when you are talking with the business guys. They don't understand all these things. They will simply understand what results I will get. Okay, so there your model should work properly. So that is the place where where the optimization, what things went wrong, why it moved from 98-99% accuracy to 75%, 70-75% accuracy, why this drop, what went wrong, and then you start optimizing it. Or even if you get, let's say you have a good accuracy during validation, training validation, and testing also, you get something around 95-96. During validation you are getting 98-99. During testing you are getting 95-96. Why this drop of 2-3%? I can't afford to have, like, that means out of 100 use cases, I will have 95-96 correct results and 4-5 will be wrong results. 4-5 wrong results is a big case, and even one is a big case. Even if you get out of 100 cases, 99 correct cases and one wrong case, who knows that one case can bring a lot of disaster to us. I can't afford to have, I want 100% accuracy. Okay, so that is again the place where these deep networks have come in and filled the gap. So, so this is what the goal of the optimization. That's what I was trying to tell you, and this is the part. This is a major theme of this talk, which I am trying to speak over here. So the goal of the classification, or the goal of the learning, or whatever you are doing, is to minimize all the problems which are errors which are taking place during the testing phase. Okay, so there is again one common term which is being used over here, which you will see in the next few slides. The term is the fitting term. When your model works well with the training and the validation data, but it does not work so well with the testing data, this process or this phenomena is known as the overfitting problem. Okay, now this is what we have to do, and this is the reason why people run after this. And many times, like, people say that this model is no longer working. Let's say I develop a linear regression model, a simple linear regression model. It does not work well. Okay, so I have not identified this part well, or these variables have not been figured out or studied well, and so many things are there, and people resort to a new model. Let's say, or you take one more version, let's say you go for a multilinear or multiple linear regression, or you go for a polynomial regression model, and you keep on exploring. And there also, for some time you have good results, but again a new test party, third party test data comes in, it's no longer working. See why? See, one of the primary reasons why this is happening over here is that because these algorithms or these tools or these frameworks which we develop are basically dumb. They are all, they don't have a thinking capability. They are all dumb boxes. Okay, they are dumb tools, black boxes. Whatever you say to them, they will do it. That means in testing, during the testing phase, you might have encountered some data point which the model was not being used while training the model during the learning phase. That is again one of the main reasons. Okay, so what people do, that is where the training is not done. So they will take this testing data where the model failed as the training data for the next phase, and they will again retrain the model, and they will say that now the model is running well. But again, unfortunately, the next day, another data point comes in. Okay, the second day, this was a story of day 1. Day 2, another data point comes in, and that is also where the model has not been trained and it fails again. Again, you will do the same thing. How long you will do? You will continue with this. This cannot be done. See, every day you will find some new data point. You will again do the training. Every day you are failing. You are left nowhere. Business cannot wait. Business cannot take these faulty things. They will not come back to you, right? So to take care of this, people have been resorting on the idea of optimization. One common idea which people use over here is the idea of generalization. So what is generalization? I do some work. Let's say we will recall to our younger days when we used to go to school when we were very young. We used to study some formula. A plus B whole square is equal to A square plus 2AB plus B square. And based on that, we used to solve some n number of problems. Okay, we solved 10 problems, 20 problems. And we used to say that, yes, I am well acquainted with this A plus B whole square formula, and any problem is given to me in this formula with respect to this formula, I will do it. So what is that? That is a generalization. Human beings tend to generalization. We generalize things. When we go to a new place, we are not used to that place. Okay, suppose I go to, it is very warm over here. Okay, and when we talk of this part of the world, it is very warm. And I will tell you my story. I went to Europe after my PhD, and it was very cold. I was not able to acclimatize. What is going on? It took me quite a fair amount of time to get myself used to the things. So I have to give myself some time, give my body some time to get used to the cold temperature. I was living in a temperature of 30-35 degrees or 40 degrees in India. And all of a sudden, I go to a temperature which is less than 5 degrees or even less than 0 degrees. In Scandinavia, it is less than 0 degrees in most part of the year. Okay, it is very cold. The summers over there are much colder than our winters. Okay, so that is what I found myself, and I was nowhere. What is going on? Why it is so cold? So it took some. So that is what these models are doing. See, these models, all these models which people use and which people develop are nothing but developed by we human beings. They are not. This is not rocket science. Whatever we are doing in our daily lives, this is what these machine learning models are doing. All these smartphones which we use these days, and our young generation people, our young students use a lot of smartphones, smart devices, and everything is smart. Nothing is dumb these days, right? So these are nothing but this phone, the phones which we use are nothing but dumb boxes. Okay, they have been given some features during the manufacturing time, and so and they are doing all the things for us. I will just give it an instruction, and it will do things for me, right? But again, this is also a dumb box. This is also a kind of a model. In fact, we keep on saying that we all are neural networks. Every living being is a neural network. Okay, whether you find a human being, whether you find a street dog or a cat or any cow or anybody, everybody, all are neural networks. Everybody will look at the environment, take things from the environment, and learn from the environment and respond immediately. Whenever he or that living being finds something new coming in, it will go back. But whether it has seen that example prior, if the learning has done, we see so many new things. Okay, we see so many new things. Suppose a new model of car comes in the market. Okay, there was a time when we used to use those ambassador cars. Okay, in our younger days, we haven't seen these beautiful cars which are available. In my childhood days, I remember rarely having an ambassador four-wheeler at home was a status symbol, which I never had, which we never had in our life. But these days, our young kids, my daughter is using those smart cars, Toyota car and all these things. That is how things have changed. When the Toyota car came to the market 30 years back, it was something new for me. I haven't seen it. Now I am used to it. Looking at it, I have been so many places, I see it. Now, if I look at an ambassador car, it will become irrelevant. This is outdated for me. But there was one point of my life when that was very much meaningful. Okay, so this is what the learning is. I'm just trying to talk about the learning over here. Okay, so 12:40, I have got 20 more minutes. Okay, so now if you look over here, the scalability, the efficiency and the scalability. See, when we develop these models, we develop with respect to some constraint or something in our mind. Let's say I develop a model with 10 variables. Okay, and there is no guarantee that it will use those 10 variables will remain over there. And that is true. That is where the life, or when you look at the human life or the way we live, 10 years back, smartphone used to be something very much status symbol, but a luxury, kind of a luxury item, or even 15 years back. But now, at this day, 2024, a smartphone is a commodity without which we cannot live. I was just outside before the call. I made my Google Pay payment by using my smartphone. I have never used this Google Pay 10 years back. Thinking of Google Pay was something, how this can happen. But now it has become a part of my life. I cannot live without this, right? This is how things have changed. This is how the human civilization has grown and evolved all over the years. Now, that is where the scalability, when things are growing, you will not remain with those few 10 features. 10 will become 15, 15 will become 20, 20 will become 200, and 200 will become 2000, and so on. This is the rate things are growing. Okay, so that is where the dimensionality is growing. Now, that was one of the big problems in the earlier versions of the machine learning models. When we talk of the statistical learning models like the linear regression and all the stuff, they had those problems. But when we moved to neural networks were trying to address these problems with their layered architectures. But SVM was one of the tools which addressed the scalability, the multi-dimensionality problem, the curse of the dimensionality problem in a very lucid manner through its complex mathematical framework, right? So this is where, again, when you try to develop solutions for these frameworks, you try to look from the optimization perspective. How much is the accuracy? There are two things over here. One is the value which you should get, which is expected from you, and one is the value which you are really receiving. Okay, so there is a gap, always a gap between the actual value and the value which we are receiving. That is the predicted value. Okay, now you have to fill this gap. If I say that my accuracy is 95%, the upper limit is 100 over here. So I have a gap of 5. 100 minus 95 is 5. I cannot afford to have a gap of 5 over here. There was a time when people used to get themselves compromised or kind of accustomed to those gap values. But as we have grown and as we have moved forward, I want 100% accuracy. So that is where these ideas become so prominent, and people try to fill the gap. Okay, we have to optimize the results altogether over here. So this is one more direction, one more point in that direction, and minimize the training problems. Whatever errors you find during training, if you can minimize them somehow, so all the things in the validation and of course during the testing phase, when we do training, we have unknowingly we do a lot of problems. Okay, and those problems have got to be minimized and got to be reduced while the training is going on. So this is the framework. Like I was talking of a binary classification problem. This is a kind of a decision function. Whether the output which you get is going to belong to one class 1 or -1. Okay, so that is where the prediction level is going to stand. Okay, which class is it? Suppose I give a loan. I am a professional banker and I want to see that if I give a loan to a person, whether I will get the entire money back along with the interest, because that is the reason why bank has hired me, right? So there are people who take loans and they don't pay back, they run away. They are basically, or they skip their EMIs. They're basically known as the defaulters. A very common problem in this domain, whether a person is a defaulter or he's a non-defaulter. Okay, so this is the binary classification problem in two-class problem. Okay, so this is what the two-dimensional situation like a simple data set with 2 dimensions, and there are 2 classes, one with these circles and one with the triangles, and we have a simple 2D classification situation which you can see on the screen. Now, but in real life, actually we have got the much higher dimensional stuff. Okay. Now, one more idea is to look into this training loss, training function, the training errors is the loss function. Okay, misclassification. So people generally treat this function as a loss. Okay, so the loss function is like when the classification is not done, there is a loss, and profit plus loss is constant. So loss is growing means profit is decreasing. Loss is decreasing means the profit is growing. So I will give you one instance over here. Generally, people think that if they get a huge salary, even I used to think that when I was young, I will have a very comfortable life. I will have a good savings. I can spend on a lot of things, and I have a good life. No, it is not that. You earn more, you spend more, and you stand the same way. You earn more, you spend less, you are at profit. You earn less, you spend less, still you can make a profit. See what I am saying? The spending which I am doing, if I can somehow reduce them or somehow take care of them, there are a lot of unnecessary spending I am doing. If I can reduce my spendings, that money will not be spent, it will be saved. That money saved is the money gained, that is the profit I have. So that idea of economics is being used over here. Profit plus loss is a constant value. To increase the profit, if you can increase the overall principal, that is all right. But if you cannot increase the principal, you cut down your expenses, you cut down your losses, the profit will go. Okay, so that is the idea. So this is talking on the this function, this classification function, which may be continuous or which may be discontinuous in nature. Ideally, we always love to have continuous functions, but we always do not come across those. Many times we are forced or we are resort to on these non-continuous or the discontinuous functions, and there also we have to find out resolutions. Okay, so these are some of the pictures of the loss function. So I was talking about this in 1995. This Vopnik, he was the man who started this support vector machines. Again, you can see the logistic regression. It is again a very common classification tool, classification method, which we study, which we teach to our students, and we do all our work. Okay, so this is how the loss function looks like. Okay, more on the graphical representations side. So of loss function, when we have with us, we always want to know that whether this function is having is differentiable or not. Okay, these functions are very much complicated in nature, and when we look these functions at the very first instance, it's difficult to interpret them or understand them. So we need to break it down. The idea of the differentiation allows us to break this complicated functions into more simpler forms, and from there we can say that these this function becomes simple, and we can understand and can get to know more about these functions. Okay, now this is what the problem, the red, you can see the overfitting problem with the third-party data, where we have to minimize our losses. See, overfitting means the data is not the model which you have developed is not working with a third party. Okay, this is where the problem is. You have to reduce that. You have to take care of that. There should not be any classification problem over there. Okay, so this is more on the overfitting side. So we look for this 100% training accuracy always. That is what we always say. We say a device algorithm is smart, method is smart when it has 100% training accuracy. Okay, that is what we always look for, we always strive for. Okay, these are the various ways and means for to do it. Now, SVM is defined by a margin value, which you can see on the screen over here. This is a margin value. This is where the idea of the support vectors started. The points lying in this margin are ideally our support vectors, and if we can somehow figure out these boundary points lying on the boundary. Let's say a student has got 49.99 and the passing marks is 50. So if I give him a grace mark of 0.01, he will pass. But shall I give him a grace mark of 0.01? That is what we need to see. We have so many problems like this, these boundary line cases. Okay, whether I should pass a student, he needs 0.01 only, but whether I should give him or I should not give him, that is what the bigger ask is. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, the idea of the regularization, which takes care of these losses. Okay, when the classification, ideally you think that the student should fail, but he is somehow managing to get some grace marks, and he is getting in the pass class, but he should not pass. Ideally the student should pass, but somehow he is in the fail class. So this is what we don't like. See, I will take you to the simple cat versus dog classification problem. See, we see various breeds of cats and dogs. Okay, all the cats are not the traditional cats which we see at our house. A leopard is also a cat. Okay, a tiger is also a cat. A wild dog is also a dog. So if I try to keep this cat and dog classification, the two class as a two class classification problem, then things will not work. I have to break down these classes into a multiple classification problem. Okay, so here for the two classification problem, we generally use the logistic function sigmoid, this idea of the sigmoid neuron, for the binary classification problem, and for the multi-class one, we use the softmax. Okay, now in spite of using all this, my algorithm is prone to some problems. Problems will be there. How will I address these problems? I am looking for 100% accuracy, means generalization, but I am not achieving that. Even if I get 99.99, if I take 1,000 use cases, 1,000 points, 1,000 sample points, so 999 will be correct, one will be wrong. I can't afford to have one wrong. As simple as that. So I have to find out some reason. Means I say something is in the training, some problems. No, there are few more problems. So that is being addressed over here. In fact, to the idea of the regularization. And regularization, a very famous regulation function, parameter which you can see over here is the CPAT. This is the regulation term which we use over here. You can see this is the basic structure. We try to minimize this. This is a kind of a loss function, okay, which I will try to minimize, because as I told you, once I minimize the loss function, I will reach to the profit. Okay, so the regulation term is before the plus sign. Okay, there are various forms of the regulation in the literature, like L1 is the lasso regression, L2 regression is the ridge regression, and the loss function which you can see, this xi function which is kept over here inside the summation, and there is a regression parameter which is being placed over here. So this takes care of that third-party data problem, the generalization problem. I have to address these problems. Okay, so SVM was the first tool which made use of this optimization. This is how I am optimizing my work. See, developing a solution is not a problem. Even the school kids are doing these days. Okay, small kids getting the Python codes. They are, even you don't require Python codes. There are various tools. These are IBM's and Microsoft. These companies have developed this, Google, Facebook. They have developed millions and millions of tools. Okay, we work with many tools when we were in Samsung. Some proprietary tools are there, company specific tools. You don't have to write the codes also. You just run the tools, feed the data inside the tool, place it inside the tool. The tool will do all the things and you will get the output. You don't need to do anything. But again, running the tools will not, when you have a problem, will not allow you to identify where the problem took place. You have to fix the problems. See, as an algorithm, a designer, you have to look at the problem. See, we are not school kids, right? We have to look into the depth of the problems. So there you have to develop things from the scratch. Okay, so this is about the multidimensional perspective, which I was trying to talk about, the kernel functions, the curves of the dimensionative functions. Various kernels have been used. The most common kernel is the Gaussian kernel. Then on top of it is polynomial kernel, radial basis function kernel, and few millions of them. I am not even aware of it. I have used 10, 15 of them in my life, in my research life. And every now and then these kernels come. I think I am approaching towards the end. I have 2 minutes. Madam, I will take 2 more minutes to complete, and then it will be done. Okay. So this is the training data. This is more on the formalization of the training data stuff and the bias terms which are being used over here. This is where the number of the features which grow in number. Suppose you talk of a human face, the number of the features will keep on growing over there, and you have to look out ways and means such that your algorithm works appropriately and correctly. Okay, so this is where mapping this high dimensional data to a space such that the classification piece works properly. So we don't have a single line over the classification line over here. Okay, so we have to look in terms of a plane, or the more complex term which is used over here is the hyperplane. See, higher dimensional data is a big problem for us. That is where the curse of the dimensionality problem comes to us over here. And it can be having, there is nothing called infinite in real life, but theoretically we speak, it's a high dimensional. Infinite dimensional means something high dimensional, and that is where these algorithms have failed. Your algorithm becomes more complicated and things go haywire. So SVM was a tool which took which took care of all these problems and gave some stupendous, beautiful results. Okay, so this is what the kernel function, which you can see over here. This is what the kernel function, a very commonly used kernel, the Gaussian or the RBF kernel. This is, they are now, you people might be thinking regarding the implementation. All these things are available in the Python libraries, the sklearn, scikit-learn library. In that framework, everything is there. You don't have to do anything. For deep learning, TensorFlow is one library, or the Keras. These are two frameworks in Python. You will get everything. All these things are written in the library, but running the codes will make you a total dumb person altogether. You need to see what is happening inside. Okay, so this is how these kernels are taken care of and how they are used. Okay, so there are various ways and means of these kernels. This I was talking about the support vectors. Okay, which will help you to actually identify those points which are marked in those squared boxes. This classification plane is bit non-linear in nature. You won't have such non-linear plane. Now the optimization framework for SVM is quadratic in nature. As you can see, it's a n-squared framework, and more the number of variables you use, it gets squared of it. So the complexity grows. Okay, but with the given composition, with the given computing resources, you don't have to worry on that. Now, what we do generally when we have this high complex structures with us, we rely on decomposition. Okay, we break down the problem. These are all vectors represented as matrices, 2D vectors or ND vectors, and we break it down into n number of subvectors and we do our work. Okay, so that is how this problem, see, as such, computer memory has become so cheap, even with few thousands of rupees, we can have few GBs or even much more memory, few TBs of memory, which was not possible 10-15 years back when we were students. When I did my PhD, memory used to be a big problem. Today, we have something called Google Colab. Okay, you don't have to install it also. You just have to have a Gmail account, Google account, and just open Google Colab and start doing your work. It's the Jupyter notebook is well available, ready for you to work upon. Okay, so these were some of the memory problems which were there. And this is more on the decomposition side. I have shared these slides with sir. So just go through it. Any problems, please feel free to write to me. Okay, so this is more on the optimization side. Now, this is what some of the problems which are related to optimization, the working set selection, that is where the training is done, whether the convergence is taking place, and how do you stop your algorithm. Okay, your algorithm is continuously giving wrong results, so you should have some stopping criteria. Okay, and how fast the algorithm is reaching to the correct value, that is the convergence rate, and the numerical issues are there. So these are all high memory intensive problems which used to be a big part at that point. In those years, 15 years back, when computer, or even 20 years back, or even 30 years back, when we were very young. Okay, then having a PC at home used to be something great. Okay, a big PC, that big terminal desktop. It used to be a big part in our house. I did all my PhD work on Sun Java terminals in ISI labs. Okay, so there we used to run these algorithms, and it used to take a lot of time. I used to run the algorithm in the night, 9 o'clock, and it will take full night, 6-7 hours, and I used to sleep in the lab. In the morning, I will get up and the output will come up and be stored in a file. That used to be done in those days. But now things have changed altogether. Things have running a code used to be a difficult piece altogether. But now everything is on the fingertips. You don't even need a high terminal. You can, if you use your smartphone or a smart tablet, you can run your codes over there. Okay, I think I will keep it over here, because this was a brief which I want to give to people. And thanks a lot for allowing me to speak. And please feel free to reach out to me in case you have any issues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm grateful for the time and effort you dedicated in sharing your knowledge with us. Kind reminder, the feedback link will be posted in the chat box at the end of the session in the afternoon, and the e-certificates will be obtained once the form is filled. The morning session was truly enlightening. Thank you all the speakers and participants. Let's get connected again virtually at 1:45 p.m. after the lunch. Thank you, everyone.
I will log off.